Hey folks, welcome to the Real World Prepper. I am RWP, the Real World Prepper. That's me. And here is reasons to prepare number whatever. I don't do this. It's not a series, but just another good damn reason. Our country is going to pot. The Western world, the civilization that we know, that we love, that we adhere to, that we want to continue, traditional values, Western values, dare I say for some that have complained in the past, Christian values. And I'm not talking about churches, I'm talking about God and Jesus Christ and, our salvation and the ways that we should live in that regard. I've already turned off a bunch of people, but for those who are still here, let me just point out this is just one more nail in our coffin, as it were, in a country. Because a collapse is coming. We prepare because a collapse is coming. Calamity is coming. Without rule of law is coming. Totalitarianism is coming. Pick your poison. I don't know which way it's going to be. EMP, CME, any of these things that are going to destroy our way of life completely, okay? Or the continuing trickling of all of the, the agendas, all the varying agendas that are being perpetuated and shared. And anyway, so I was watching the news earlier, and frankly, I did not know about this person, but there's a guy named Matthew Perna. Maybe you guys have heard of him. This is where I'm going with this. If we're going to take away anything from this video, take away the Matthew Perna story. Okay? Here it goes. Now, I'm reading from NBC News. Okay? You can find the articles anywhere. A Capitol rioter, someone who was there on January 6th, right? Died by suicide as he was awaiting sentencing on charges of witness tampering, entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds, and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. So, we go on this guy, Matthew Perna. He was from Sharpsville, Pennsylvania. He killed himself. I hate to hear that, too. He was 37. This guy went... he was a Trump supporter. No bones about that, right? No secret. He went to the Capitol because he expected there was going to be, that Mike Pence, this was from his family, and I think from some of his posts and words said to other people before he died, he thought Mike Pence was not going to affirm or whatever it is, the election results. And so he thought he was going there, like many people did, to celebrate, to have a win, have a victory, right? So he went. He goes on to say the obituary that his family wrote, of course, said that Perna attended the riot the riot. They call it the riot, the January 6th, occasion, to peacefully stand up for his beliefs, quote, and that upon learning that the FBI was looking for him after the fact, because they did for many people. Think about all the people that are in Washington, D.C. prisons right now, or jails right now, that for 14 months or better, that have not been charged with anything. Okay? We are run by a mob. This country is controlled by mobsters. Think of all the gangs, gang activity still goes on in big cities, New York included. But think about the early days, the 30s, 40s, 50s of, Italians and whoever else, in New York, all the different rivaling factions, Somebody ran things, and that's where we are now. There's a mob running things, and it's called the U.S. government. So anyway, the FBI was looking for him, so he turned himself in. He pleaded guilty to all charges. I don't know why. I'm not here to judge that, but then we got, quote, the government had recently announced an intention to seek an additional sentencing enhancement with Mr. Perna, and he was psychologically frail and not able to deal with the stress of the situation. This news report that I saw earlier about this goes on to detail how over the past year, basically, that he has been ostracized and cut off by family members, by friends, from childhood, all the way back, and it's because of his political beliefs. It's because he went to the Capitol, and of course, either people are stupid or they're stupid and they're being brainwashed, by all this talk about it was a riot and it was violent and they were there to overtake. I mean, what in the ever-loving duck is going on here? You guys see it? I know you do. If you're looking at this channel, if you've gotten this far in this video, what are we, 6 minutes in? I know what my view duration is, right? You know what we're talking about here. This is why we prepare, folks. Because it's gonna come apart. I mean, it's coming apart now. But when it finally it's stretching and when it finally goes and falls apart and blows apart, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to at least survive and to have your group, your community, your family, yourself at the very, you've got to, unless you're ready to give up. I'm not ready to give up. It seems the only thing is rebuilding at this point. Once it explodes or implodes, whichever it is. Thanks for joining me on this uplifting episode of The Real World Prepper. Thanks everybody for being here. I love you guys. I love Jesus Christ. I love my God. I love my wife. I love my family. I'm just happy to be here. See ya.